morning. If you're watching this, you were a part of the kickoff Q2 presentation that we gave on Avendra. What I'm looking at now is the Avendra program overview. If you haven't read this, haven't gone through the details, please do so. This is your next action item as a salesperson calling on an Avendra site specifically. So congratulations. You're either a part of the corporate client manager group or you're a local regional salesperson actively calling on an Avendra site. So we're excited to have you. Thank you for supporting this campaign. It is a good one. All right, so let me start with here. If you can see this, there isn't a link to the Avendra FSG corporate client assignments. As you know, these are all in the drive. Make sure you're logged into your FSG email when you do so. Now, on the first tab, you're going to find the corporate client name. You're going to find the FSG corporate client representative. This is the master assignment. We talked in depth about this earlier. You can read about it, but the master assignment is tied to the corporate client. All right, so when you go to this second tab, the Avendra active list, there's 6,000 sites. There'll be more being added, several in your area. Most likely you're watching this because you have one of these sites. The database is there in the letter. You can identify some very important things to update Zoho. For one is the address, street address, all the information that you need on the specific site. Person, phone numbers, any information. What's most important though, when you're adding this to Zoho, you need to make sure that, or the CRM tool that we're using, so you need to make sure that the management company name is identified. We'll just use this as an example, so Marriott International Incorporated. And then the Renaissance Baltimore Hotel is the unit name. So keep understanding there's a difference between management company and unit name. And then the Avendra ID. Those are three critical pieces of information. What you need to do is on this spreadsheet, identify, find your site. Find out not only who the corporate client is, the unit name, and Avendra ID. That is key information to know as you are sending requests into the Avendra customer care group, also reporting back to the corporate client manager. So when we go to the corporate client list and we look specifically for Marriott, I know that if I've got any questions on this account, corporate client account, Adrian Vera is my go-to. Adrian's the man. He'll respond, he'll get you situated, he'll give you all the information you need to know to call on Marriott International. He'll also be assigning sites locally, working on projects. He's very active in this account, doing a fantastic job. So let's go over to Zoho quickly because that's the primary meat of this discussion. I'm in a lead. I'm editing a lead. You need to make sure that you fill in all the information that you have as much as possible. Follow-up date is critical. Follow-up date is the date that you're going to follow up. If you want to put a week in advance, then great. You're going to have a specific contact name. I'm going to stop here and just go ahead and say, if you don't have a contact name, you haven't been by the hotel, don't add it as a lead. Okay? It's a waste of time. Make sure that when you're entering a lead, it is a accurate lead, a lead that you're going to physically call on, physically work, physically manage, not just adding leads to add leads, okay? Especially for Avendra. But there's some very critical key pieces of information. The name, the corporate client, the Hyatt Hotels Corporation, for the example that I'm showing here, needs to be the company name. So when I started Marriott International, if that is your corporate client, you need to copy that name exactly how it's written, and then enter it in there. So Hyatt Hotels Corporation is this one specifically. It is an account that I manage, the corporate client relationship, so I'm showing you an example in that client. Okay, so the corporate client needs to be the company name. Down here, the unit name. is where you're going to add the physical hotel name. What it looks like is on this spreadsheet, the actual Avendra unit name is going to be the same as unit name on CRM. Plain and simple. Avendra ID, make sure that you add the Avendra ID. This is going to help you in the future administrate requests. Those are two critical pieces of information. If you don't have the site number, that's okay. It just needs to get set up. Make sure that whoever is the corporate client manager, you email them. Let them know that you're calling on this site. You'd like to have them set this up for you. They'll then start the ball rolling. Also, you could send the request to avendra@fsgi.com, which you all know. But please make sure you add the customer information. Now, this resides within Trend or SX. If you don't have access or don't know, ask your sales manager. Most likely your sales manager has given you this lead, or a corporate client manager. All right. Description is just what you want it to be. In this, I've added a lot of information for me to follow up with, who I talk to, click to respond, like corporate managers are used to seeing and understanding, and then the physical address. Okay, so that's how you set up a lead. There'll be further demonstrations and videos on how to convert the lead, but right now we're just going to save this. What I've done is I've added the LinkedIn link. I've also added a photo of Tom. Great, handsome looking guy there. So I'm going to scroll down. Most important, campaigns. The campaign is what we're running with Avendra. We want to track it. So any new lead that you add that is an Avendra lead, make sure that you add that campaign. You add the Avendra campaign to it. Some other critical pieces of information that you want to know. Division is where it resides. You'll get some further training on this, and as well as the lead status. All of this information is in your CRM manual that I produce for you. You'll get resource training there. The lead source, you can add campaign for Avendra. That is a very viable resource and solution there. If it's a cold call, you can add it, but for Avendra, let's go ahead and use campaign. The industry, of course, is hospitality. You're not going to find anything other than hospitality in Avendra, so leave it as such. All right, easy enough. So now that concludes how to enter a lead and tie in a campaign, which is the Avendra campaign. Thank you and have a wonderful day.